Niddah Daf Lamed Aleph, we have a wonderful sugya of Agadata. Says the Gemara that in the beginning of the pregnancy, the fetus starts out on the bottom of the womb and climbs up to the center of the womb, and finally at the end of the pregnancy, he makes it to the top of the womb. A woman who gives birth to a female has more pain than giving birth to a male. The entire pain of labor comes from the fact that the baby is turning around to face downwards. Now, a girl is born with her face upwards, where a boy is born with his face downwards. They ask, but in nowadays we see it's not like that. They say Nishtana Tvarim. Rav Shlomo Kluger says perhaps it's talking about within the womb as they're coming out. The first 3 months of pregnancy, tashmish is bad for the mother and the fetus. The middle ones are bad for the mother, but good for the fetus. The final months, tashmish is good for both the mother and the fetus. It strengthens the fetus and cleans the fetus. Tashmish on the 90th day is usur according to the Tanakama because that's the day that the life goes into the ubar. Abai says it's impossible because we don't see an isser in the Torah for it, and it's something that's hard to count. Therefore, shomer psoyim Hashem. Rav Moshe Feinstein says, based on that, even if a person knows exactly when the 90th day is, it's mutter to be with his wife. There are 3 partners, says the Gemara, the famous Gemara, Baruch Hu, the mother and the father. The father that gives the zera, white, gives the bones, sinews, nail, the brain. The mother that gives the red, she gives the flesh, the skin, hair, and the pupil of the eye. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives the ruach and shama, cluster upon him, the ability to see, to hear, to talk, to walk. Bina, seichel, das. As soon as HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes those, a person dies. It says in the pasuk, "V'nefloi sadei mispar." His nisim and neflois are all the time, but where are they? Says the Gemara, it's a mashal. If a person wants to keep something in a bottle, he has to close the bottle and have it upright. But pregnancy is the exact opposite. The opening is on the bottom. The baby doesn't come out. That's a nace. In fact, as the pregnancy goes on, the baby gets larger. Instead of gravity taking effect, the baby goes higher up into the womb. If a person takes 2 seeds and plants them of 2 different plants, he'll have 2 different plants. But when 2 human beings come together, you see the difference between what the woman brings and what the father brings. There's an amazing Gemara here that the Gemara brings a pasuk, Oitcha Hashem ki onafta bi. I praise you, Hashem, that you were mad at me and now you are calm. Yoshav abcho senachameni yumenachami. What's going on here? Says the Gemara, a person is upset at Hashem. He wanted to go on a business trip with his friend, and Kadosh Baruch Hu put a thorn in his foot. He can't go on the business trip. He thought Hashem did something wrong to him, and he's upset. In fact, the fact that Kadosh Baruch Hu was upset at him, it saved his life because later on he found out that the ship went under with his friend. And sometimes we don't see that the ship goes under with the friend, and we're upset, and we think Kadosh Baruch Hu is upset at us. And the pasuk says, Hashem does nisim for himself. Only HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows what the nes is, but there's in fact a big nes here in everything that HaKadosh Baruch Hu does for us. A person is not created from the entire zera, only the best part of it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu sits and counts when is the zera going to be a tzaddik, and Bilam Harasha, who made fun of HaKadosh Baruch Hu Kaviyachol, and he said, how could somebody like HaKadosh Baruch Hu, who's tar, peek and try to see when people are nizdak zelazeh, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu made him blind in one eye. HaKadosh Baruch Hu got involved in the pregnancy of Yisachar. As we all know, that Yaakov was with Leah that night instead of with Rachel. HaKadosh Baruch Hu made his donkey go to Leah's tent. It says in the pasuk, Ishok, he says, Zriya v'yolda zachar. If a woman is Mazriya Tchila, she has a boy. As it says in the pasuk, Eila b'nei Leah, that the boys are associated with Leah. And then it says at the end of the pasuk that Dinah was the daughter of Yaakov, because if Yaakov was Mazriya Tchila, he had Dinah. Says Rav Katina, I could make sure that I only have boys. How? Isha Mazriya Tchila. In other words, if you satisfy the wife first, you'll have a Zachar, says Rava. Therefore, Yival v'Yishna, person, if he wants to have a boy, should have Tashmish twice, and by that he'll make sure that she's satisfied and there'll be a Zachar. Ravami says that the best way to impregnate a wife is by having Tashmish before she becomes a Niddah. Ravami says no, after she comes back from the mikvah. If a person has a Zachar, that brings peace onto the world. Rav Shimon Bar Yochai says the famous Gemara, why does a woman bring a carbon after she gives birth? It's because she swore that she'll never have children again. Asked Rav Yosef, but she's amazed. There's not a Helam Davar, she should have Charata, and also why does she bring a bird? She should bring a regular carbon for somebody who swore falsely. If a if somebody has a boy, everybody's happy. There's a Shalom Zachar, there's a bris. So therefore, the woman has charata that she swore that she'll never have children. She already wants to have children after 7 days. That's why she's only tummy for 7 days. But if she has a girl, it takes her 14 days to realize that she made a mistake. Mila is on the 8th day. Why? Everything else in the Torah is 7 to 8 years of Shemitah, Shabbos, etc. The answer is because the 7 days when a woman can go to the mikvah, and the 8th day she's tar, she could be happy with the rest of her guests. Why is a woman a niddah for 7 days? That a husband shouldn't despise his wife, and he should be machshaver like the day they got married. It's normal for a man to search for a wife and not the opposite. It's because the man is searching for lost and found, his rib that was taken, and therefore the Gemara says that's why a woman's voice is sweeter, because she was created from a rib, a bone, it makes a sound, where a man was created from the earth. Sound is not that good. And it's easier for a man to make up, to be mispayas, because he's soft like dirt, where the woman is tough like a bone. With that we finish the Perek HaMapeles. Says the Mishnah in Benois Kusim. The Kusim were a nation that came to Israel, and the lions started eating them, and they were misgayer. There's machlokes whether they're Geri Emes or Geri Arayis. We're going with the Malon that says that they're Geri Emes. However, they didn't learn the Torah, they took the Torah literally, they didn't do a lot of the drushes of Chachamim. Therefore, one of the things that we're makbid on is that all their daughters, even a day old, have halacha of niddah. Even if they never saw dam, since there's a minority of girls that see dam at a very young age, we're choshesh for the miyut, and that's tomorrow's sugya why. The kusi himself, the husband, has a halacha of a niddah, because anybody that's with a niddah has a halacha of a niddah. Kusiyos, they were machmer. They said that every dam is like niddah, even yellow dam. In fact, yellow dam is not. But that brought a terrible thing, because they were being makbid on yellow, and then when they saw red, they said that the start was a couple days ago when they saw yellow, and they went to the mikveh, let's say 3 days after they saw red, and in fact they weren't tar, and they were with the husband, so everything they touch is tamei, like the clothing of a zav, which means it's only a rishon. Therefore, the Gemara says it's only tamei misafek, and if a kusi touches truma, you don't burn it from that safek. Have a wonderful day.